Hello and welcome to a new episode of the new devlog of Runes of Aereal. So you can already see what I've been up to this time, which is a totally new overhaul of the menu. I was really tired of the book interface. Furthermore, I saw a game on Steam which used the same background because it's like a stock background you can buy. Now I've added my own background right now, which is something I created myself based on some footage I found, free footage I found, and some adjustments in the GIMP. And also the menu is now a bit more sober, as you can see. Let's just start that menu and see how that works. You can just click an option and then it slides away. You can change the volume and stuff like that. You can go back and you can see how that works actually. So also the statistics have got a new overhaul here using a scrollable window like that. That's also something new which I'll come back to. So that's a completely new menu which I'm planning to pull through all of the menus in the game. Actually, this look and feel should continue all through the game. But that's for future releases. So right now, let's see how that works a little bit. Go into the event sheet. So here we can see that all of the buttons, the brownish buttons with the books and stuff, that completely disappeared. We now have this menu button fog, because it's like a little bit of fog behind the menu button, which is opacity 1 or 100, depending if we are hovering over it or not. And when we hover over it, we just have this light clicking sound based on it. So and in this interface, whenever we click somewhere, we can do something like select a main menu option or a main menu back, for example. These are functions I call, and these functions select main menu option. For Journey, there are some special things going on which are not really finished yet, but for example, for everything which is options, for example, or statistics, we use the main menu slide functions. And the main menu slide actually slides all of the buttons of that specific menu to the left or to the right, depending on what it is. So the menu part here is what part of the menu should be sliding. It should be sliding out of the screen or in of the screen, and it should be animated, yes or no. Here in the main menu slide, you can see it tweens really those buttons from one side to the other. Those are tweening buttons, and it also tweens the text, the generic text from that menu part. So it actually uses, for example, the category here called menu to identify which parts are part of which menu. And using that, I can actually go and select those parts and tween them out or in of the menu. So here, and there's some special things here, for example, because for options we also need to move the delimiters for the volume, for example, or the checkboxes and the volume bars and stuff like that. And for specific statistics, there's also an extra control in there. I'll show you in a minute. So those are the logics which I've added for those menus, and the thing is, I will be adding more and more of those backgrounds with the same look and feel, so getting rid of the book interface completely and add interface with exactly the same look and feel inside of the game. Now, if I come back here to the main menu and I'll hide the default stuff here, I can add statistics as well, and you'll see here that statistics, instead of like a text box which is non-scrollable, I've added something called an HTML element, which is something which has recently been added to the portfolio of the Construct 3 features. And it's really handy. You have some great examples in the example browser of Sura. And I've used that example browser of Sura to come up with my own scrollable element here and an HTML statistics. So there are some things I needed to change here. The content here is changed to have a body and a table class called table statistics, and I added also a CSS file. So you'll see here that I have the statistic name, the statistic value, etc. Those are CSS changes to the CSS file that I have made to be applied to that HTML element to make it look the way it looks. Yeah? For example, I also added here this font, which I'm using throughout all of the game to be used in that HTML element as well. So that's applied automatically. You don't have to do a lot for it. We just reference the classes. You reference in your HTML element here, and then it's applied automatically when you launch the game. But in order for this to work, I needed to change something to the statistics here, because before the statistics we could add statistics, and these statistics are added to a dictionary in the game. But what we needed to do is instead of returning a string, a new line delimited string in the getStatisticString function here, we no longer need to make this a string. We need this to make this a HTML coding. So what we do here is I make table rows and table delimiters here in HTML, saying, okay, the statistics name class, which is made to style differently in the CSS file. This is the number of journeys started, and then I insert from the statistics table statistics, the statistics dictionary here. I get the stat network start new journey statistics here, and I use the escape HTML here to make this HTML safe, let's say. And that's the way I do. I just append to this result every time a new table row. And by using this statistics string here in the insert HTML context, when I start the game, one of the first things I do is I search for this table statistics here, and what I do then is insert the HTML in those table statistics HTML element. That's what I do. So this really dramatically changes the way it looks, which is a good thing, of course, in terms of appealingness of the statistics overview. So another thing I did here is let's go to the battle interface here. I also changed this battle. You can see now in the background that these background things have changed a little bit. So I've cropped some of those images. I've lost some of those images to save some computer memory, because this game already consumes a lot of memory in game. So I'm going to do some optimizations for that in the future, but the first step into this optimizations have already been made to make this more consistent, this look and feel more consistent with the menu look and feel. So I just changed a lot of background elements here to make this more consistent. And the last thing I did was implement runes, and these are the runes here. These are the runes of Aereal. So we'll be able to check out the runes we've gathered during the game. Of course, when we gather all of the runes, the game will be over, and that's just the goal of the game, to collect all of these runes. So for to create the progression into the game, I will be adding later in later phases the option to collect runes and to see an overview of which runes have already been collected, of course. So I've added those as images already, so they can be used in a later phase. So that's it, a new main menu. That was it for this time. I hope you like it. As always, please like, please subscribe, and see you next time.